Hey guys, Tom once again for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. And look what we have here. We were talking about doing this next week, but yeah, we just decided to go ahead and do it today. So those of you that follow the channel know exactly what I'm talking about, and that is putting the beautiful Bahama Blue 64 Beetle that's been in the same family since day one, putting the body on its chassis, which we had finished building many months ago. So kind of cool to get these two together finally. So before that happened though, Rafa continued to do some work on it. So the front turn indicators went on, all wired up and ready to go. The running boards went on. And also the rear turn indicators went on the rest of the way. I think the housings were on previously, but today pretty much the rest of it went on. So yeah, there you go. Rafa and I honestly were not 100% sure on the color of these running boards. The color is called Como, I think. And it may be a bit much. I don't know. I think we're gonna try and withhold judgment until the doors are on and the correct wheels. These are just some rollers that are on here now. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It might actually look better to just have black ones on it because these, I think, draw a bit too much attention to themselves. I actually wish that they were a little bit more muted, like the fender beading that we got. But this is pretty much what's available. Obviously black also, and there were some other colors that would look even worse. But this is kind of the closest to like a blue-green. Again, Rafa and I are not necessarily in love with that. But again, we're going to try and withhold judgment. Maybe like once the door's on and stuff and your attention is not so kind of looking at that, then it's going to look okay. But we'll see. We'll swap them out for some black ones if it's just too much. But yeah, very exciting. So obviously putting the body and pan together, gluing the seal to the pan, the one that runs along kind of the length of the pan and across the front and across the back. And then there's some little pads here and there. Like for example, at the front beam here, there's pads. There's some pads, some other places, mainly in the back by the shock towers and stuff. So the body is not bolted on right now. It's literally just sitting there, but it went on beautifully. Everything is lined up really nice. We haven't actually checked the alignment of the holes along here yet, body to pan, but I expect that they'll line up very well. Pan was done by Brian Washburn and team, and they have jigs and stuff, so the pan halves should be, in exactly the right place. And we didn't replace the heater channels on this car, so shouldn't be any alignment issues there. Yeah, the engine is very nicely aligned here. So yeah, coming together really nice. We got to get on the wheels for this thing and powder coat the original wheels and then paint them. They're supposed to be two-tone, so we'll get on that. These look pretty dorky on here. These 67 only wheels just look kind of lame, but they're rollers, so they serve their purpose. So yeah, that happened today, and very excited about it. And what else happened today? So the other main thing that happened today is I went and tore the very disgusting 40 horse from this guy, this original Manx Buggy. Went ahead and tore that down to a long block, and believe it or not, this is the very cleaned up version. Took basically like a screwdriver, and just in some areas it was like that thick, the crud that was built up on here, again having to like dig around and find heads of nuts and stuff to remove the stand here and distributor and so on. It's just caked with garbage, and so still kind of caked in garbage, but yeah, this is the slightly cleaned up version. So yeah, this thing came apart, and I think I'm going to go ahead and have Brian Roth build this motor for us. And I think we're going to punch it out, which is kind of hilarious because it's still a small motor. We're going to punch it out from 1192, which is the stock cc's of a 40 horse. We're going to make it a big bore, which will be a whole 1385. But that having been said, 1385 based 40 horses are pretty bitchin' little motors. I've had one before in a personal car. It's amazing, those extra couple hundred cc's from a 1200 going up to almost a 1400. It makes a pretty big difference on these things. Much better drivability. In this car, you know, it's a buggy. They don't weigh anything. It doesn't really take much to get one going down the road. Honestly, we could probably put a 36 horse in this buggy and it would just tool along fine. But this is the motor that they had in it, a 40 horse. And so we're going to keep with that theme, but beef it up a little bit, again, as far as a little bit extra displacement. And other than that, we'll probably just make it completely 100% stock, except of course it'll have a header. Spent some time this morning texting back and forth with Tiger from A1, and they can actually make a Baja style exhaust, which is normally they sell them, make them for 1600 base motors. They can do some trickery on it so that it'll fit onto a 40 horse, which is slightly narrower than a 1600 base motor. So yeah, we're gonna get a bitchin' header for this thing and then a muffler. It's gonna look a lot like the system that came up where the collector kind of comes up like this, and then from there it bends around, I don't remember, one side or the other, and kind of comes back around like this, and then the muffler sits horizontal like that and then dumps out from the other side. So yeah, it'll pretty much look just like that, except be really nice and new and stainless. And so I need to find out if the owner is going to want it in black, which will kind of be more period correct for this car, or if he wants to do brushed or polished stainless, which would also be great looking options. So yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. But yeah, that is the header for this. Nobody anymore makes a 40 horse purpose-made Baja style header. You used to be able to buy that kind of stuff. You know, I think the market for people wanting to put a 40 horse in a Baja Bug or a buggy or anything, it's so small. Nobody makes it anymore, at least that I could find. So A1 muffler, Tiger Vasquez to the rescue, and he's going to take one of his 1600 ones and make it fit this 40 horse, and it'll be super awesome. Other than that, last thing is our intern Jacob spent quite a bit of time today, and I think the 36 horse that he's building is probably going to go together tomorrow. So I'm talking about just the bottom end, the long block. I think we're pretty much ready. All the ducts are pretty much lined up. We still have to put on the guide plates for the lifters and a few other things. He's got the crankshaft is fully assembled with its connecting rods and so on. I actually had him spend some time today reading through basically the Bible of these things. So this is the correct one, which would cover a 36 horse. And so, yeah, I just had him do some reading today to kind of familiarize himself with it. And of course, I'm teaching him as we go as well, but it's always good to kind of read how Volkswagen intended this stuff to be done as well. So anyway, that is it for today, guys. Pretty productive day in the shop. And we will see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.